bring it back.
Welcome back, dudes. I hope you enjoyed the intro. This is because I had this tank on my line for like a while now. Sadly, since I've lost my hard drive, my SSD being I don't know how damaged, I've lost a lot of content and a lot of lists of tanks prepared for you guys for the next year and so on. And sadly, that's why I haven't been posting a lot lately. But let's get started. So as you know, we have battle paths, and in these battle paths you have to use some tanks. Sometimes they are like tank destroyers, AFVs like tanks, MBTs, SPGs also. But today we're gonna have an interesting tank, and this tank is the, let's say, the father of Draco, put it out. I would like to see this tank to be a premium. Yeah, you heard me. A premium vehicle at tier 10, a rarity.
Why?
It is because when you do battle path, you don't have a tier 10 premium tank. When it's like a Sophie Wolfley tank destroyer, where you have to do damage. We don't have tier 10s in the game from Sophie Wolfley at tier 10. None of them. If we go to vehicles, they're nothing. Probably is in the shop where you have to pay euros or dollars. And leave this behind, we don't have progressive tier 10s from Sophie Wolfley. A few months ago, Draco got buffed and he is better than Centaur 120, much better. That's because of the gun. And this tank that I am gonna speak about today has the same gun as Draco, but it can do more damage than what's on this tank. The Automatic anti-aircraft tank for intercept and combat, shortened as OTOMATIC, was an Italian self-propelled anti-aircraft gun SPAAG, a prototype. Designed and built by Automelara, it was armed with a single 76mm naval gun. It is based on the Automelara 76/62C and evolved toward 76/62SR and 76/62 Strails. Now let's get into the weapon system. The system is compact enough to be installed in relatively small warships. Its high rate of fire and the availability of several types of ammunition make it capable for short-range anti-missile point defense, anti-aircraft, anti-surface, and ground support, which is dope because we use basically all of our SPAGs as ground support. We don't use them as anti-aircraft. Well, in some special operations, hardcore operations, just to shoot some drones or some helicopters. The original version has a rate of fire of 85 rounds per minute. If we have a look at Draco, this one has 120 rounds, but also as this tank, Automatic, it has also the Super Rapido variant, which is a higher rate of fire of 120 rounds per minute, and it was developed in the early 1980s and remained current as of 2020. The Super Rapid's high rate of fire was achieved by designing a faster feed system. Draco got the same system, and that's why Draco it is better now. In the past, Draco honestly was shit as a tank destroyer. Everyone was avoiding the tank, but nowadays everyone is playing with the tank. I love it also myself, and it's much more useful nowadays to play with the tank. Despite Draco, this Automatic SPAG tank could fire high explosive standard munition, multi-role auto munition or short MOM, anti-missile projectiles with proximity fuse and tungsten balls embedded in the shell for defined fragmentation effect known as PFF, semi-armored piercing or short SAPON, guided projectiles for anti-aircraft and anti-missile maneuvering targets or short DART, guided projectiles known as Volcano, but the smaller ones and not the 127mm. But now let's get back to the tank itself. How it's been built. It's a bit tricky because they've used the chassis of an MBT. We have that MBT in the game. That's the OF40. And as you see on the screen, this is the tank. And the chassis of the OF40, you can find it also on Palmaria. is the same chassis of this MBT. Now what they've done, they also changed the turret. So the turret is a bit similar with the Leopard. It's basically, it is a, a Leopard tank. And mounting the Autobreda 76mm gun along with associating search and target radars and their fire control system, it came out pretty interesting, as a tank. Plus they added the S-Search radar, SMA VPS A05, with around 15 kilometers range against aircraft and 8 kilometers against helicopters and hovering. A fire control unit SMA VPG A06 Ka band, and it's also included an optical fire control system with periscopes for search and aiming with a laser range finder. The whole turret was built of steel, roughly with the same thickness of the one used in early Leopards, and weighed 15 tons. The tank is being built around the MBT, so it had a bit of armor, but still strong. And as I remember Palmaria in the early days, you could fight aggressive with Palmaria. Nowadays, I don't know, but probably. Automelara offered its long-range SPAG that could outperform systems like the Gepard and similar versions with the British Marksman turret that mounted much smaller but rapid-fire 35mm guns. The barrel was strengthened in order to hold greater pressure, so it can fire not only high explosives but also APFSDS munition. The automatic was never put into production because the already widespread presence of anti-aircraft missiles reduced the need for a long-range anti-aircraft gun on the modern battlefield. Still, it is much cheaper to fire proximity-fused high-caliber shell versus a cheap ISR UAV or single-use UAV compared to launching an anti-air missile. So therefore, Automatic had no orders by the Italian army, as both SIDAM and Skyguard Aspide were already in order with very high costs, coupled with Stinger missiles, the upgraded Hawk, and the coming Meads missiles. No orders were received from foreign customers either, despite the 76mm gun being already well known and widespread in many navies around the world. The Centauro Draco can be considered to be further development of the Automatic, as the Draco utilizes the same weapon mounted in a lighter turret on a welded chassis along with a more compact radar system. Some facts about the vehicle is that it had a mass of 46 tons, size of like of MBT, so the same as the OF40, a crew of 4, 76 horsepower in the beginning, the first phase, but it took it up to 830, 500 kilometers operation range. It might have a visual range of 500 meters in the game, on the move, a max speed of 65 kilometers an hour, not the fastest SPAG, but a very decent one compared to GAU by speed. Tell me guys, what do you think about this vehicle that might be, I don't know, introduced in the game sooner or later, but I really hope it will be introduced from Sophie Wolfley. We have a lot of tier 9s premiums, some of them, as I said in the beginning, can be obtainable from contracts, events, battle paths, but not all of them, to get some rarities from the shop itself, and those are quite expensive. Tell me in the comment section, what do you think about the tank? Do you like? Do you think it's a good tank to have in the game? Do you want to see him progressive and not premium? If it's premium, at what tier? I go with 10. And thanks for watching guys, and see you next time. Bye bye.
Bring it back.